paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural, and this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murder scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we want to eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this.
All right, beauties and bees. Hello. Oh, let me boost my volume just a little bit. Good morning. Did you miss me? I was out last week, so I hope y'all missed me. I'm back now. Is that better? Am I peaking now? That's pretty good. We'll leave it right there. Let me know how I sound. I'm going to try not to bob around so much. I do tend to bob around when I talk. I'm a very animated person, but I've had some recent complaints that my volume goes up and down as I move further and closer to my mic. So I'm going to try to keep myself held together and stay still. But did you miss me? Last week was well, I shouldn't say the first time. Well, I think it was the first time I voluntarily took a day off from life from the Hive. Other times it's been circumstances where I was moving or where I was sick or in the hospital or things like that. I've never missed an episode outside of those circumstances. But last Saturday was the first time I did. I went to Austin with Ben and Helen. We drove there from West Texas. We had a little road trip experience. Went through obviously the desert out here, and then you get a little bit east of here, and you get into canyon country, really pretty stuff. And then once you get through the canyon country, there's a little bit of scrubland that turns into highland wine country, and they love their wine. There's a wine vineyard on every corner, and orchards for peaches everywhere as well. I guess it's good they get some nice rainfall in that area. It was fun, but getting to Austin, I'd never been to Austin before. It's a beautiful city. Beautiful city. Went to, I guess I'm just arcade bar kind of girl because when Helen came here to visit us, we went to the arcade here called Rad, the arcade bar, and then when I was in Austin, I went to two different arcade bars. Went to what was the one, Cider or something? Was the one we went to, and then we went to the Toy Museum, which is an arcade. With the toy museum. Yeah, I got to go to Arden and Matt's house and hold some snakes. Had a lizard sit on my head. yeah, it was pretty fun. Got to see the baby zebra skinks. They were so cute. They're still living with their mom and dad. They were adorable though. I have pictures, all that stuff. I'll probably try to put it up on here at some point. Again, let me know how my audio is. The Captive Desk says my audio is good, which I trust Dave. And while I'm at it, people were dropping stuff while the intro was going, and I need to say something. I need to say, what's up? Because Captive Desk has been a member for 28 months. That's like what, 2 years and 4 months or something like that. Yeah, that's crazy. Thank you so much for all your support. And then we had Regios, good friend of the channel, longtime friend of the channel, probably been here almost as long as Dave. I'm not sure, but they gifted some memberships, and they went to DJ Megan Santanas, Dr. Dino, Stroke Assaulter, Jefferson Spatchcock, Scott Duke, No You Yahweh, I guess is how you pronounce that, Aaron Non Sequitur, Alex Raven, and Chester O.T. Yes, so appreciate you, Regios. Yeah, I got if you want to help out the Hive, there's little buttons there you hit. You can gift memberships, you can give super chats. I don't do it on this program, but when I do my Charlatans Web, where I have a guest, we do take shots for super chats. And yeah, and you can ask anything during your super chat too. It's super chats up to $5, because yeah, but yeah, it was it was fun, Helen. Fun weekend in Austin. Like I said, gorgeous city, great people. We went, me and Ben went and explored the Asian market that they have down there. Got all sorts of cute stuff. We got Bo, the manga for Kiki's delivery service even. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna stop with the preamble, and we're gonna look at the polls real quick. So when it comes to the polls this week, something snapped. I hit the algorithm at some point. I don't usually get this many votes. I usually get maybe a few dozen votes. Like if you look at this one, 14 votes. But for Cryptic Corner this week, 165 votes on my poll. And it was overwhelmingly for Kuchisake Onna, which doesn't surprise me. It's a weird ghost. Oh, who's your buddies here? Dropping 10 more gift memberships. It looks like they went to Deep Arcs, who's also been a regular here for a long time. Hell's Bells is now a channel member. Secular Rarity is a channel member. Holy Spackle, now a channel member. Vargi, Vagrant Vagabond of Variant Vistas. That's a name. They're a channel member now, though. Caterpillar, old friend of the channel as well. Why Weed Bro, or because Weed Bro is now a channel member. Equus, I think Equus would probably be the way it's pronounced because it's spelled like the horse genus. Ooh. Tori Swasinger. We got Sam Plays XX. Yeah, welcome. You all should have, now that you're channel members, access to all the cool emojis we have down there. Especially the Bigfoot feet are the most popular ones, obviously, because people like to stomp across there. Ray Comfort is now a channel member. Oh my goodness. Go figure. There's my Cryptic Corner alarm. But let's get back to the polls real quick here, because things move quick. Things move quickly, and I need to get the show on the road. So anyway, this won overwhelmingly. So 165 votes, 1% for Men in Black, 1% for Big Muddy Monster, and 4%, just 4% for Nandy Bear. So I don't know what happened to make this hit the algorithm like that, but they want to see what this bitch has to offer, and I'm here for it. Let's do it. And then after that, we'll be moving into the Week in Weird, which has received more standard, more of the normal. Oh, look at all them Sasquatch footprints. Yeah, stomp, stomp, stomp. Use your big feet. Where we have the ectoplasm episode where we're going to talk about ectoplasm. It's a spiritualist thing. We're going to talk about snake charming. We're going to talk about creatures discovered trapped in stone somehow. This week, though, we're going to talk about cursed mask. Got a couple of them specifically, but we'll see how many we get through. But that is going to be the polls and how things turned out for us this week. If you want to influence the way the show goes next week, there will be polls out. Usually I put them out same day, like I finish this show. That's usually one of the things I do is start my new polls. I'm always excited to add something new to the list, and having a new ghost, because usually like with let me show you real quick with the Cryptic Corner poll. Usually I do cryptid, ghost, hairy hominid, and then alien topic. But you get kind of mixed up depending on how things are going. I might replace the hairy hominid with lake monsters or something at some point. But the key is, though, I don't add a new hairy hominid to the list until this one's gone. Like I can't add like a Yowie, for instance, this list until this is gone. And I can't add like the Ontario Black Panther, which is the next one I want to do on this one, until this one's gone. So it's always exciting to have my ones that are in the back slots slide forward, especially when stuff's been sitting for a long time. Like this has been sitting forever. Snake charming. It used to be charming the serpents, what I called it. This is what we got to like call it snake charming 101, because we're going to learn about how it's done. Anyway, but without further ado, I'm going to move over into Cryptic Corner because we're 2 minutes into it, and that's going to be 2 minutes less that we get with, I'm going to look at how to say her name again, Kuchisake Onna. So I'll see you guys over there in just a second. And I did finally get this is peaking. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. I did finally get the music right for the Cryptic Corner intro. So I think it should sound all right. Let me know if it sounds bad. Hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and welcome to my hive. This section of the show, we explore those very topics, and today is no exception. Today, things are getting a little ghostly, though, because we're exploring a kind of urban legend meets modern sighting sort of ghost today. And the best place to go for spooky-ass ghost lore is the island of Japan. So today, we are visiting, it's a channel I've never done before, I never responded to before, but we're doing urban mysteries. Now, one thing I know about this channel is they stand for the black-eyed kids, but what we're really after is going to be the slit-mouth woman Kuchisake Onna, and they have videos on that, or a video on that, which we're gonna dive into now. Why is that so small? I'm gonna make that bigger. I don't like it that small. There we go. That's how I want you. There you go. And I guess that needs to go under here. There we go. There we go. That's much better. All right, so we got the slit mouth woman, and I'd almost done like a slit mouth thing for today's show, like kind of along the sides there. But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna mess with that because I do like doing costumes, and I might do like a photo shoot of it or something. But it makes the video like when I get to the masks topic, when I cut that, it's gonna look weird just having me with my mouth like that with no explanation. Anyway, I think there's 2 people on this podcast discussing this. And again, audio pending. All right, here we go. No sound yet. She's pretty creepy looking, though. I like some of the art over there. The Japanese really know how to do ghost stories. They really do. The chat went quiet.
Hello,
Good morning.
Welcome to Urban Mysteries.
Good morning, Jason.
Tonight we're going to talk about the slit-mouthed woman. It's a Japanese folklore, pretty famous, pretty old. We're going to start off with some information I came across it. The story began back in the Heian period between 1800 and 1200 BC, I believe, in Japan. And
wait, what? 1200 and 1800 BC? Are you sure about that? That doesn't sound right.
There, and then it ended there, and then it resurfaced back in the 70s in the Nagasaki prefecture. It was basically a whole bunch of different sightings of mainly kids. There were some adults, but it was mainly kids who were saying that walking home from school, they would come across a woman.
I put my face on super early this morning. I was up at like 6:45 or so. My internal clock, but I had time to get some laundry done and unload the dishwasher and stuff before the show, so that's always a plus. Get some of that stuff taken care of early.
And we're going to get into the details as to what this is. They would come across a woman and certain things would happen, and we'll reveal that later. And it came to be that this was the slit-mouthed woman who was responsible for either killing or scaring these kids on the way home.
Slit mouth woman.
Lisa, do you know any information about the slit-mouthed woman? Or
I don't know if I stretch my mouth out like this.
Popular urban legend from Japan, and typically how she's described is it's actually evolved over time. Originally,
and I could put like little clover lips in the front. Do that. So I have a big mouth. I really do. You can stretch it as far as it'll stretch. Yeah, I have a big old Carol Burnett mouth. It's awesome. I can do cool stuff with it.
Was this woman that would be covering her face, usually with like a fan or a cloth. Some people have described it to be like with a scarf.
It's usually what I came across is usually one of those surgical masks, because you know how that's very common in Japan because a lot of people cover their face out of courtesy whenever they're sick.
Yes, that's actually a modern evolution of the legend for her.
So I guess it just changes over time.
It changes over time, yeah. She kind of shows up at certain eras. So, like you said, she has shown up back in the 1970s, but there's even information that shows that she showed up back in the Edo period of Japan, which is why there's a lot of conflicting information as to when she actually originated. And it's very creepy because one of the original mythologies of her is...
See, the art that they're showing, no, does not say BC Japan. I don't think... wow, 20... Let's say 17... the time frame they're talking about, Not say that Japan didn't have a society and culture during that time, but they weren't. It wasn't this advanced. There weren't lamp posts, and the.
She
Okay.
was blamed for attacks that were thought to be kitsunes, that were shape changing kitsunes playing pranks, like you were saying. But then over time, it's shifted to being blamed on a ghost, or serial killers, or mass hysteria.
Man, I gotta be honest. I did not come across any single thing you just mentioned when I researched into this folklore. I came across one thing and one thing only, and that was that it was a story about a woman who, I guess, cheated on a guy who I guess was very important, but this person had either anxiety
Sometimes he's a samurai.
issues or
Is that your Carolina dog? You should bring your Carolina dog up to play with Henry out here in El Paso. Henry would love to have a friend to run around with. A wild dog to teach him the wild ways. He sings too. He sings like a husky.
was not mentally stable, and when he found out about her cheating on him, he basically confronted her, asking about the situation, and when she admitted it,
Welcome to the Hive, Accurse. You can do Bigfoot footprints and Mothman and rainbow moths, all kinds of cool stuff.
basically took a pair of scissors and cut her mouth open.
Yeah, but not BC, Regios. That's kind of, I guess that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that he had it mixed up. He said BC, which in the BCE, before Common Era, but
from ear to ear, gave her basically like a Joker smile. Obviously, it's, not as pretty, just like the Joker's was. So she then was decapitated. I know the face you're giving me, but this was basically the information I came across. She was then decapitated, and then the reason she shows up is because whenever she appears in front of anyone throughout the time that her sightings happened, she would ask a person, "Do you think I'm pretty or beautiful?"
do you think I'm pretty? Do you think I'm beautiful? Wow! And her mouth goes like the it's like the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park with the frill, except for she spreads her whole mouth open. There's lizards that do that too. Is it the agamas? Hold on. Let me see if I can find a picture of one. Are you guys the weirdos? Yeah. Look at this weirdie. Let me see. Open. Here. Gotta minimize this for it to be able to slide over just a second. There we go. So look at this guy. That's pretty freaky, right? The slit-mouthed lizard. It's called a toad-headed agama. I love their little face, though. Look at their little face. I want one to do that to me. It looks like I don't know why it reminds me. It does look like the one from Jurassic Park, but it reminds me of for some reason it reminds me of the piranha plants, or maybe Audrey 2 from Little Shop. You know.
And if you were to answer yes, she would then take off her surgical mask to reveal the gruesome hideousness that is her disfigured face. And then she would ask the question again. And if you were to say no, she would kill you. That would be the end of it. If you were to say yes, she would technically kill you as well. But she would kill you by basically giving you the same injury on her face on yours. But you would obviously...
I was on Java and Jugs too, Accurse. Yesterday was my first time on there, though. That was, everybody else is one day ahead of me on that. They got, they got a few, a day head start because I missed the, Wednesday? Thursday? I missed the Thursday show. I'll be back on the Monday show, though. Java and Jugs is continuing through Tuesday, so we'll see how it goes.
Die from those injuries. There's really no way to survive if you were to encounter her. You gotta be super lucky.
It's
so
like a catch-22.
it's like a
There's
catch-22.
actually a lot of similarities. There's a lot of different stories that have pretty much similar outcome. For example, on a version that I found, it was
I really like this art piece though. She looks super spooky here with the black eyes.
was a samurai, and he actually cut her throat. I mean, cut her mouth.
Love you, Maya.
The smile on her face with his sword. And one of the things that he says to her is, "Who will think you're pretty now?"
What was the reason though? Like when you came across that information?
Very similar reason. She was a woman that in her village was always complimented on her beauty, and it made her arrogant. And it made her think that she could.
So, I want to be arrogant for a second. We were in Walmart yesterday, and we were just walking down the aisle, and so we passed this cute little abuela, and she looks at me, she goes, "Oh, you look good." I was like, "Oh, well, thank you." It was so funny. I get like taken aback when someone just randomly compliments me on the streets. Or in the aisles, I guess, as the case may be. Just, "Oh, you look good."
Like she eventually fell in love with this common soldier, and thought she could have an affair, and then her husband, of course, finds out about the affair and everything.
Sounds a lot like La Llorona all over again.
Yeah, she does have a lot of similarities to La Llorona, and ironically, or unironically enough, La Llorona was last night's Cryptic Corner, which really didn't get much views, but I missed it too because I was busy. I was busy playing trivia over at Ben's, so I wasn't there for it either. So, if you want to, because I'd rather spend live time with my friends and interfacing sometimes, but I always like to try to keep Cryptic Corner as a premiere. So people can hang out there if they want to. But if you missed it, this is the woman in white. No, we didn't do La Llorona specifically. We did a Florida version of it just because there was a ghost hunting team that were out there looking for her. But there it is.
Yeah, I guess women can't be beautiful in history, or they'll come back and kill you. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, welcome, Vandalia. Welcome to the Hive. I was on Thursday's thumbnail. That's true. Uh-huh. Good morning, Simply Secular Dave.
So, yeah, the way she attacks you, similar to how you just described it, right? The way she attacks, I'm going to create a scenario for you, Joel. So imagine yourself, and for our viewers as well, just imagine yourself walking down.
One of the guys has a better mic than the other one, I gotta say. They put this crackling fireplace behind them, and it makes it kind of difficult for me to hear. But everything's cranked up to the max for them. Hopefully, you can hear what they're saying, all right?
A lonely road, because usually these things happen like down a lonely road or an alley or a foggy street.
How likely you're alone?
Well, in Japan, I think it's fairly, especially in like the urban areas.
No, in Japan, I know it's a very common thing. I've seen those documentaries where like kids in elementary are walking home, and they're like on the other in another county, and they're taking trains. So I know it's a very common place. Then again, you know,
taking a train to school though would have made a lot more sense than having to walk all the way across town. To me, when I was a kid, I'm like here for it. Bugbot just stinged me. We don't have any baking soda because I forgot to put it on the grocery list yesterday.
Kidnappings don't happen very rarely. They happen rare, I mean to say, in Japan. So I think that's why culturally, a lot of people walk great distances, and they're usually alone.
So you're walking alone.
Japan has some great public transit, is what I'm hearing here, and I'm not going to disagree.
Down a street, say an alley, and it's foggy outside. Don't think anything of it, and all of a sudden this woman shows up, and she's wearing one of those modern like surgical masks, again, like you mentioned earlier, and she comes up to you and just asks you an inconspicuous question. She asks you.
Oh shit.
She asks you, "Am I pretty?" So, depending on your answer.
Well, that was some bullshit because you have like your mic volume's way down, so I can barely hear you, and then you have that scream at full volume. Yeah, not cool, dude.
Scenarios happen. If you say yes, she will pull off her mask and reveal a
Uphill.
blood-dripping, slit mouth, very grotesque things. And she'll look at you and she'll be like, "Am I pretty now?" And if you answer no, or
Am I pretty now? It's been a long time since someone did a screamer on me. When you're a paranormal investigator like I am, and you're watching, looking for ghost videos or haunting videos or things like that, in the early days of YouTube, it used to be very prevalent that about, 40% of them were what they call a screamer. That's where it's like a watch very closely and it gives you like something that maybe it's in a red circle or pointed out. It just gets you looking really close to the screen and listening intently, I might say, and listen or something like that. And then like it'll put like Reagan from The Exorcist like right up to the camera, or it'll put, some zombie or something with a screaming sound effect. And it's supposed to like make you jump back. And in the early days before we were desensitized to screen time, which we're like now, we're like the mind is totally different about the way we do screen time. So, but back then, being that close to the screen and having something pop up like that would have, people would knock their chairs over. There were lots of reaction videos to it. Screamers were, yeah. The U.S. has a thriving public transit system. If you count hopping trains as public transit, yeah, for real.
if you scream, she'll basically stab you or cut you in half. So for the same question, if you answer no, she'll
Flat out kill you.
She'll just flat out kill you, right? Well, you have a little more time if you say yes. Now, if you say yes the first time and then you say yes the second time after she reveals her face, then she'll walk away. You think you're home free. But then what you don't know is that she's following you home. You go home.
Yeah, I don't. If she's pretty and it's consensual, she can come home with me. I mean, I'm not. Facial scars are not a deal breaker for me, babe. So it depends a lot on your personality, and it sounds like you're into gothy ghouly shit. We could probably hit it off pretty good. Yeah, let's come home. I mean, we don't have to do anything. We just like hang out and we have yeah. But I'm not gonna reject you, babe, just because you got some scars on your mouth.
Doing your evening routine, and then she'll follow you home.
You are annoyingly quiet, sir.
So
I heard though she'll
there's-
just stab you right then and there, or give you, or just slit your face.
Yeah. Again, there's different
versions.
variations.
I
to
came
the
across
story.
a different version that you probably did. You just haven't mentioned it yet. Where if you say yes the first time she shows you her face, and then she says, "Am I pretty now?" and you say, so. She'll like, what? Like it'll give you.
Yeah, well, that's cold though. This cryptid is just Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah. There's books. We found there's like a book series about they're called the Pumpkin Queen series about Sally Ragdoll.
Time to run away. She'll be like pondering what?
Well, yeah. It's a way that you can escape her, right? So some people that have claimed to encounter her have said that if you answer back with a confusing answer, such as so-so, or even if you turn the question.
What kind of people though? Like, can I drop her off at a Proud Boy rally and just let her do her thing, and then pick her up later and we'll go out, we go out to dinner and watch a movie? That'd be pretty cool.
Back around on her, like, am I pretty? Then it will confuse her long enough that you can get away from her.
Yeah. And if she doesn't answer, you just stab her.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You just go.
I'd be like, "Oh, doll, you're gorgeous. How am I looking? How's my fit? Am I serving?" And she get all confused by that, maybe. But I'm not gonna stab her. We're not gonna stab each other at all. Like I said, I drop her off places where fascism is prevalent and let her just do her thing.
further.
Well, it's weird because like if you try to run from her, she's super fast and she'll show up in front of you, right?
Yeah, she'll just materialize
So
in front of you.
it's I don't know. I find it there's other stories where
So she's yeah, of course she has teleporting power. She's a ghost. You can't just run away from a ghost. But for the most part, it seems like ghosts are pretty harmless based on what you see in pop culture, right? You see, they might peer behind you in a mirror. They might run through a doorway in your peripherals, but they're really not doing too much. They make it cold. Right now, it's the middle of August, so I bet we would all benefit from a cold spot in our vicinity.
if you throw hard candy at her or money at her, you can escape from her because she'll just be like distracted with the hard candy or money.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Those weird pieces of information. I came across one saying that she's afraid of pomade. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, she is afraid of hair gel. I don't
You
know.
mean pomade?
I always pronounce it pomade.
I say pomade. But why candy? Why pomade? I don't think she would be a fascist. I would hope not. I mean, teach their own. I mean, whatever ideology she wants to follow. I'm not gonna disparage her right to be a fascist, but there's consequences to being a fascist. Very real world consequences.
But I don't know. I guess to each his own. But
I don't know.
I think we're missing the
what's
point.
right.
The point is she's afraid of hair gel.
Well, isn't pomade like also something used like by plastic surgeons?
No, it's
Like-
why do you keep calling it pomade? I mean, whatever. But it's pomade.
I will
and
call it what I want.
it's a hair product. That's what I read online that she's afraid of. I don't know why.
I mean, you can escape her by throwing hard candy at her. Like at this point, I don't know whether to believe it's real or just think it's.
Well, I mean, sounds like maybe this was invented by the candy companies, like Halloween. But you just treat her like she's at a parade, and you can go about your business. Throw a little candy at her. Yeah, I haven't used hair gel in forever. I use a little bit of hairspray to set my wigs, but I don't use gel. Gel's too messy.
joke.
Well, I mean, her mouth is slit open, so those cavities are more visible. So of course,
Native atheist, just a dapper Dan man. Like Everett from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, no doubt. Pomeranianade. You have that to help sculpt your little baby's hairdos.
she's afraid of candy. But I also came across another bit of information. Apparently she's Freddy Krueger-like, and I'll tell you what I mean. And honestly, obviously she's not taking things from Freddy Krueger folklore because she's older than Freddy Krueger. So I'm assuming Freddy Krueger was inspired by her somewhat, because apparently I read that she keeps appearing.
Freddy Krueger was inspired by Sons, which is a sleep disorder that not Sons. Hold on, let me look it up. It was the Hmong people. Here we go. Sons. It was Sons. Okay, so let me kind of we'll bring it over. All right, so Sons, right? This is an important part of, if you're a paranormal researcher, this is the kind of stuff that you need to understand and know about. And a lot of people just don't. That there has been studies done. This is from PubMed about Sons. Sudden death in sleep of Laotian Hmong refugees in Thailand, a case control study. A syndrome of sudden unexpected death during sleep occurs among adults, Southeast Asian refugees in the United States. Surveillance for sudden death was conducted among Laotian Hmong refugees in the Ban Vinini refugee camp in northeastern Thailand to determine if similar cause of death occurred there. 16 sudden and unexpected deaths associated with sleep were found that were similar to sudden death noted among Southeast Asian refugees in the United States. A case control study by Ben Vinay, I think that's Vinay, I think I said it wrong the first time, revealed association between sudden death and sleep and members of in the Green Hmong subgroup. The family history of sudden death and previous non-fatal sleep disturbances. Sudden and unexpected death during sleep of young adults in the regional phenomena within Asia and occurs in populations that are culturally and genetically distinct. Migrants from affected populations in Asia carry with them the susceptibility to sudden death in sleep. Right, so pretty bizarre phenomena. Let's see. Now they call it sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. Basically, these what they claim is that they were having heart attacks in their sleep, but these people would have nightmares for like weeks leading up to it, right? And then suddenly they would die in their sleep of a heart attack. They'd have like disturbing nightmares, be scared to sleep, be keeping the lights on while they're sleeping, things like that. And then one day they would just die of a apparent heart attack in their sleep. And that's where Wes Craven got the idea for Freddy Krueger stalking people and stirring them up and scaring them in their sleep. And Freddy Krueger's the idea was that he would harass them first to get them talking about him, because the more people that knew about him, the faster it would, or they would know about him and it would spread, right? So that was part of the plot point, but it was based on this phenomena
throughout the different eras in history. And one of the things that they say online is that the
Sumami, I'm going to ask you this. I'm only going to ask you this once. Is the person you're having rough sex with in your dream, are they a mountaineer?
The only reason she keeps appearing in different histories is because people bring her up and they remember her. So she is empowered by her living memory. So you know that Freddy versus Jason movie where like they made it a point to say, like Freddy hasn't been relevant because everyone's forgotten about him. That's the plot of the movie. Yeah. By the way, if you haven't seen it, too bad. All right, spoiler alert, 5 years ago. So this is the same thing here. Like anyone who keeps talking about her, basically keeping up her memory, or keeping her memory alive rather. That's the other reason she keeps reappearing at different points in history, because she becomes relevant. So in other words, to beat her, you just forget her.
Funny enough, I actually
that's how they defer to the Freddy versus Jason. But that's how Nancy defeated Freddy in the very first movie. It's like she's decided, I'm taking all your power away. Like the brawny paper. What are we talking about? Brawny paper towel guy? Oh, maybe. I get you. That's as scary as the rare disorder that causes people to stop sleeping. The family that forgot how to sleep. I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to look that up. A heart attack in a dream? Sure, why not? I fly in my dreams. Practically anything can happen. Well, I mean, if you're like falling in your dream, I could see someone having a heart attack.
In some of the research, I found some sightings where she's appeared, like you said, in different time periods. And in the early 1970s, she returned to public imagination with a vengeance. So apparently apparently it got started in Nagasaki. Some children claimed to see her everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so the police actually began.
I want to get some contacts like that, though. Those eyes were wicked cool.
And to fear that there was some crazy killer on the loose.
Oh, I think
as they were like,
she could be a tulpa. That's sensible, instead of like a real person, like a thought form that's created. A tulpa is, I guess, mostly like a Tibetan concept of psychological construct that actually interacts with the real world. You meditate and focus on creating an entity, a being that exists, and you like focus it into being, and the more people that you get to convince that it's real, the more powerful it becomes. There's some interesting stories about tulpas out there. We should have to cover tulpas in greater detail at some point. We did cover we had a tulpamancy video not too long ago. Well, not too long ago, but let's see. Tulpa. Yeah, the art of tulpamancy, December 2nd, 2022. Okay, let me drop that too. Y'all want to... Because I have like a whole library of cryptic topics that I discuss here on the channel. That's my goal at this point, is just to build as much of a library about these subjects as possible and kind of go through how they break down.
Trying to find out who it was and all this stuff. A lot of panic grew, and then more sightings happened, and police patrols were bumped up in the evenings, and there were local warnings and everything like that. And then all of a sudden in 1979, everything just stopped. People stopped reporting that they had seen her.
Actually, I came across the same thing. However, I don't know if you came across this. Apparently, there was a police report.
Was it part of the humanoid flap? Y'all remember how to do the humanoid flap? It was like... And I wanted to show Ember my shirt that has all these fringes on the bottom of it, but you can't really see them in this lighting. I guess I could open the blinds up for a second so you can see them. No, it still didn't work. Yeah, you can see them a little bit. Little fringes. They're cute. But back to Cryptic Corner mode.
Of a woman who was chasing kids in Japan, and she was killed in a car accident. Like, she was hit by a car in the middle of doing this, of chasing kids. I tried researching it, seeing if I could find information, but I couldn't find anything. So I think it stopped.
It is very flapperish. I thrifted it. This is a thrifted shirt. I was actually mentioned during the beginning of the chat to Ember. I'm like, you got to see this shirt that I thrifted. It's so cute. Maybe I can, if you see the fringes better if I lift up the shirt. Yeah. So they're long too. Like, they go like like I'm wearing a skirt, right? And they go, I mean, you can see I'm wearing a skirt. Could be shorter, but they go all the way down to the bottom of the skirt. So I love it.
Because this woman was hit by a car, maybe they assumed that
I
woman...
I absolutely love thrifting. I like thrifting better than buying clothes at the regular store. Even when I go to a regular retail store or clothing store, I'm like in the nose deep in the clearance rack.
was the culprit. Probably coincidental. Maybe it was the slit-mouthed woman that was responsible for some of the events.
Well, it could have
Not all
been
of
one
them.
of those situations where sometimes urban legends, they have an origin, and then there's like a reflection of them in reality, right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes them so scary, because there's
You mean like
usually some
copycats?
Not, yeah, like copycats, or even just kind of like a reflection of truth. Because like any kind of legend has some kind of aspect.
Yeah,
to
there's
it.
places.
So
There's places where you can see me lift my shirt, Ember. That's true. You can see all kinds of good stuff if you go to the Spider Gwen. Let me see. What is the command for Spider Gwen? I think it's on a timer. It's just Gwen. Yeah, there's a command for it, but it's just Gwen. Yeah. So it'd be like this. If you really want to see all that. If you want to see what I look like naked. It's right there.
you know, it could have been that she had been in a car accident or whatever, and she suffered injuries that made her look like the.
I can sew. I don't have a sewing machine. I can hand sew too. Not very cleanly, but I can do it. I can like put patches on and stuff. And fabric and glue, of course. So it's always a skill set as well.
You know, the slit-mouthed woman being such an old urban legend, and so people just started associating her with that legend. You know.
Okay. But I mean, this was in the 70s, and this legend has long been established.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you were in a car accident tomorrow and your face got all messed up.
Amber, the one thing you need to remember is that if you do this, it'll bring your stuff up. And I can do this, and it'll bring Maya up. I don't think I have Ryan or the Apostate Sisters added on here. So I do have the Daily Atheist, I think, is one of the commands. Yeah, it's just damn. Like that.
You know?
So are you saying that if tomorrow I get horribly damaged in a fire, I'm the new Freddy Krueger?
Pretty much.
Kind of messed up.
You're the new
But okay.
Kuchisake Onna. Onna. Oh my god, the slit mouth woman.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you're gonna butcher it if you're gonna let it slip. So
The fascinating thing about this legend
Kuchisake Onna. I'm getting it down. I can say it. Kuchisake Onna.
is that she generally just looks like a normal woman. Like if she covers her face, you would never think anything of her. You
Yeah.
know? And it
Well,
can
that's
literally-
the Grudge. She's a different kind of ghost. There's a different name for it. I can't remember what the name of it is right now off the top of my head, but let me see. This girl. Stringy haired ghost girl. Onryo. Onryo. It's spelled Onryo. 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 Something like that.
Here pretty much anywhere because you don't need a search.
Is that what it is? Yuri. I know Yuri is Yuri, like lesbian animation.
Mask. It could be just wrapping her face with a scarf, for example, because it's cold out or whatever.
Yeah, but if she has pink eyes, that might be a giveaway.
You just have this woman that's just walking
Oh,
around,
Ryo.
walking around in public,
On
sidewalks
Ryo.
next to
Thank you, Sumami. On Ryo. What kind of bread would you like that on? On Ryo. Got it.
kind of scouting her next victim or something. And that's like really unsettling if someone just comes up to you, walks up to you, and you're by yourself. Say you made a corner down an alley to cut through a shortcut, and this woman just comes up to you. She doesn't look threatening. You wouldn't think anything about her wearing a scarf or a surgical mask or something, especially like if you're in Japan, because like you said, surgical masks are very common over there when they're sick and stuff.
if anyone, I just want to throw this out there. If no one has,
Is that like that's a manga series too, isn't it? On Ryan. Yeah, everybody get on Ryan.
ever heard has never heard of the folklore for the slit-mouthed woman? There's you could obviously do your own research, but if you want to familiarize yourself a little bit in a more entertaining way, there's a movie you can watch from 2007 called Carved, and it's a Japanese film. I don't know if it's dubbed in English, but I'm assuming that there's subtitles. You can look that up.
Pink eyes
online.
means she's
It's
a
basically
Targaryen.
based on that folklore.
Are we Game of Thrones in it? Pink eyes means she needs to wash her hands more often.
Entirely.
And so yeah, like what would you answer? Like she walked up to you, don't know it's her, right? You don't know it's the slit mouth woman.
I don't think I should answer that because we'll
Don't tell me how to live my life, Sumami.
probably be bleeping for the next minute and a half here. So
really,
I'll probably
if a random woman were to come up to you and just ask you, "Am I pretty?"
Yo,
Although it's a
listen,
very random question.
if
to
a
ask
random
complete
woman-
stranger.
if a random woman comes up to me and says, "Am I pretty?" Even if it's not a beautiful woman, if it's a seemingly innocent person, no one in their right mind goes up to a stranger and says, "Am I pretty?"
I think in today's world,
We're about to throw hands.
like honestly, I think I would just answer, I guess, and kind of try to walk away.
I don't think that'll ever happen. Honestly, well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I think this was just
Am I pretty?
my suspicion is that this is a tale meant for kids to not talk to strangers. I honestly, this is me. This is what I think.
I had not heard of that. Dan. Okay.
Obviously, it's a folklore. It's an urban legend. I think and here's the thing: every urban legend has a purpose, right? Some legends have grown beyond its purpose and obviously became bigger than what it was supposed to be. Like, I think if you go back and look at our first episode, La Llorona, I think La Llorona, what was the purpose of La Llorona? It's like love.
The purpose, I guess, a cautionary tale about adultery and betrayal and postpartum depression is the message of La Llorona.
Love your parents, or don't talk. There was a specific lesson behind that folklore. I don't remember what it was.
So you don't think like this could be like a vengeful apparition or a ghostly figure that just appears at certain
Personally, no. I think it's just.
Is that to the tune of L.A. Woman? Look at the trees. Slit mouth woman. Yeah. Maybe. That works. It fits. Don't you love her madly? Wanna be her daddy?
A legend that has grown out of proportion. It's grown
That's a
beyond
different
its purpose.
song.
It was just
That's a different song.
meant for. I think it was just meant for kids to not talk to strangers. You see, you talk to a stranger, you'll
I don't know.
come
I
across
think-
some weird people.
I
And
think
this person-
I think it could be like an apparition. I just find it interesting how sightings will come and go all of a sudden. It kind of reminds me of the Mothman.
Well, the Mothman was good for another episode.
It's the way we talked about this in the Sweepers of Unden video. It's something called a humanoid flap, where somebody reports seeing an entity, and it makes it into the press, and all of a sudden you have it used to be called mass hysteria. I don't really like that name anymore because hysteria has a lot of misogynistic undertones to it, but where a group of people will have that reaction to start thinking that things that they're seeing that are completely natural are now all of a sudden linked to that. Like if someone sees Mothman, right, and reports it and it gets in the newspaper, next thing you know, anytime you see a red light flash in the woods, it's immediately going to go, that's Mothman. Anytime you see something big with wings take off in your peripherals, that was Mothman. Actually, I was watching Dragons in Genesis a couple weeks ago, where you were talking about the dancing sickness, and that was a type of tarantism, was a type of mass hysteria. I should add tarantism and dancing plagues to the polls for Week in Weird. Would you all like that added to the polls? Let me know if you want to know what more about tarantism, and because they're like social contagions, I guess is the best way to describe them. The dancing plagues, where everybody dances because of the affliction, I guess, is the best way to describe it. We could dig into it more when that episode rolls around, though.
That actually is very interesting because
If you
another
guys
good one that has
want
a
to
movie
hear more about
based
the
on it.
Mothman, just let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know because I'm interested in looking into that. Another folklore that has a really good movie I grew up watching, but
I love Mothman. So y'all better do Mothman right if you decide to do it.
like for example, if you hark back to our other episode, Black Eyed Kids. See, this is, I guess it's an urban legend, but it has really no lesson in it. It's
Awesome.
just creepy and weird.
Black Eyed Kids.
You know what I mean?
Listen, Black Eyed Kids are real, okay?
I know
The
that
kids are
black-eyed kids
scared.
are real because there's too many people saying
Black-eyed kids are real. Oh boy. Okay, I keep doing this, but I guess I have to keep plugging my content. Oh no. Terrible. Here's my black-eyed kids video. Always be hustling. Go back and watch some of my older stuff.
that they've had encounters. Not as many
there's-
for the
but there's a
slit
lot-
mouth
no.
woman.
What makes you think that? I mean, there could be hundreds or thousands of people that have had sightings of this woman. Possibly they all died.
I think those numbers are a little inflated. I don't think
mean-
there are as many. I think there's way more sightings of aliens and black-eyed kids than there are slit mouth woman. I let us know in the comments if you think that this is just one of those things that made up during the time where it was made up to maybe teach a lesson, and it blew up.
She
It just
could have
became
been
famous.
real at
Well,
one
it's
point.
a boogeyman character for sure. It's something that people have been doing to keep their kids in line and from wandering off and from trusting strangers for thousands of years. We actually talked about this also when we did the Hat Man episode. Now I'm going to drop a link to that because the Hat Man... I think I had a Hat Man episode, didn't I? Hat Man. There he is. The identity of the Hat Man. All right. So, and I actually, I feel like I did justice in uncovering who the Hat Man was. Because the Hat Man is an archetype of stranger danger. So it's actually expected that if people were going to have a delusion of a threatening figure, it would take that form because it's that we put that image everywhere, right? That's neighborhood watch. There'll be a sign of the hat was showing the Hat Man, right? Don't talk to strangers. It'll show the Hat Man. He's an archetype, a faceless figure that we put up to warn people away from talking to strangers. And sounds like maybe Kuchisake Onna has the same vibe.
Like a serial killer or something, and then they could have caught her, or she died or whatever, just disappeared, kind of like the Zodiac killer or whatever, and she just became an urban legend over time. But there's always like a degree of truth. So I do think she was real at some point.
I don't know. To me, it's
I know they're real because too many people have had encounters, says Dragons in Genesis mockingly. Meyer people have had Elvis encounters than seen black-eyed kids. Yeah, orders of magnitude more people have seen Elvis, right, than black-eyed kids.
it's up in the air.
Like, she may not be an apparition, but that she was at some point in time real. I firmly believe that.
I feel it's just someone's attempt to give a new spin to a folklore in order to keep it alive.
All right. Well, when you run into her, just make sure you give her the right.
Well,
answer.
I mean, I'm not in Japan, am I?
No. You never know. She could.
She may travel. She could come visit you in the U.S. She can come visit me. We'll have a good time. We can go again, like I said. Ask strangers if she's pretty or not, and she can devour their souls or whatever it is she does. It'll be fun. It'll be like a little date.
Transcending oceans.
That's just ridiculous. But I think we've pretty much said everything that there is to say about the slit mouth woman. I honestly don't believe that there's much to this. I think it's just a tale that's grown beyond its purpose. Some people might look into it and see some validity to it. I don't personally.
I think there is a degree of truth in it. I do think that if not an apparition, then at some point
She has a lot in common with Little Orna, the woman in white. Also, like a Bloody Mary type character. So there's a lot of familiar undertones here of just classic folklore.
she really was a real person.
It's interesting, I'll give you that, but I don't think there's anything in here.
In the comments below, guys, let us know what you think. Who do you agree with, Joel or me? Like, is she really an apparition that will show up to you and basically kill you if you give her the wrong answer? Can you actually escape from her, or is she just a story meant to teach a moral lesson?
Good morning, Titan.
It's just so ridiculous, though. Am I pretty? Yes. Oh, I'll make you just as pretty as me. Am I pretty? No. Dead. It's like, come on.
Well, you're dead either way.
I guess.
You're dead either way.
How'll she
Listen,
kill
all
you
you need
though?
is
They
some
didn't even
gruesome
go into
imagery.
that. What she does to you? I'm assuming it's just like a the ring kind of thing where you just like all of a sudden you're just like mangled and like oh, because that's what happens in the ring. I think that's what happens in the Grudge too. So Japanese ghosts, even if they're little waif ladies, are able to mangle grown adults in a matter of seconds.
And like, sew a story around it long enough, eventually anything will become folklore. I don't think that this is one of those that have true validity to it.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, if you ever go to Japan, Joel, don't go down like a weird alleyway.
Oh no, I'll be.
Yeah, I do recommend if you're going to visit in any foreign country not to go wandering down strange alleyways because you get lost if you don't speak the language. You could not be able to find your way back. You could end up in some kind of in someone's private property if you're dipping into alleyways. So just be careful.
I'll be going someplace else for that's for another episode in Japan. I guess if anyone's curious as to where I would go in Japan, leave a comment letting me know if you want to hear me say it, where I would go, and maybe we'll do another episode.
John Hudson, I made an announcement the week before I left that I was coming to Austin. Yeah, I made an announcement that I wasn't going to be here last weekend because I was going to Austin. We could have met up. It would have been fun. You could have met Ben too.
Based on where I would go.
All right.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the episode so far. Don't forget to subscribe.
So this channel again, this was Urban Mysteries. Welcome to Urban Mysteries. We love the weird and unexplained. If you love talking about dark and creepy stuff that goes bump in the night, this is your safe space, or safe place. Okay, and they got they're on Twitter as well, but doesn't look like they made anything in a long time. All these videos are from 6 years ago. There was another channel that covered some slip-mouth woman lore, but it was like a really bad AI voice, and I didn't really like it, so we're probably not going to cover that. It was the sealed box. It was more recent, from 2 months ago, not from 6 years ago. This channel only has 3 subscribers, though. Yeah. Probably need to work on them thumbnails. I don't know. And they've been working on this for about 2 months. Okay, but we're not going to watch that anyway. So, so what do you guys think about the slit mouth woman? What do you all think about Japanese ghost in general? Pretty spooky stuff. I just think it's basic, pretty basic folklore, boogeyman folklore. Very woman in white adjacent. I agree with the channel we just watched about that. But you let me know in the comments, or if you have a different theory about how this this originated, where all this folklore came from. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for sticking around for Cryptic Corner. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, live from the Hive audience, as always at this time of the show, I'm going to scream, don't go, because we got Haunted Mask or Cursed Mask or whatever coming up next. And I think that's going to be a fun ride. But, yeah, I'll see you in just a minute after this little intermission, because I do have to go to the bathroom. And, yeah, there's more show to come, though, so do not leave. Do not leave. I got to count. I got a head count. Don't go anywhere, or there will be consequences. there will be consequences. No, not really. Do whatever you want, but if you want to hang out and watch some haunted mask or cursed mask, I shouldn't say haunted mask because the mask doesn't really have a spirit or ghost to it or anything like that. So, anyway, that'll be up next in our Weekend Weird. But I'm popping over to intermission and I'm going to go potty. Hello, hello, and welcome to another Weekend Weird. Every week I run a poll about some weird conspiracy 14 topic. Basically anything that doesn't fall into Cryptic Corner goes over here. And this week's no different. I ran the polls as I'm wont to do, and you all chose to learn about cursed masks. So, yeah, we're gonna dabble right into that right now, because cursed mask was the winner. But next week we may have something even cooler on here. You never know. Oh, well, thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it. Yes, every Saturday I'm here, Chrissy, so come hang out. We have a good time. We dabble into the weird and wonderful and usually put a scientific lens over top of it. I'm a sucker for trying to debunk or figure out the cause of something. So, for the haunted mask, I'm going to start off right here. This is a channel called Archaeotech. And as you can see, they cover nonsense artifacts, mostly. Well, not to say they're nonsense. The Baghdad battery is not a battery, though. I mean, it's at least what we know about it. But it gives you an idea of the kind of stuff that they're talking about. You know, Otzi had a copper axe that shouldn't exist, apparently. There's this cool artifact that they believe, how to pronounce this, Antikythera mechanism, but it was thought maybe it was used for like cardiography. Solar weapons, the lost weapon of Archimedes. This kind of goes hand in hand with what we covered a few weeks ago about the Wunderwaffen of the Third Reich. They actually did have plans for a solar weapon very similar to those. But yeah, conspiracy theories, artifacts, terracotta cursed army. We talked about that recently too. But I think that was in our cursed treasure episode. But today we're specifically looking at cursed mask. All right, so let's dive right in.
They found it 140 feet below the surface. Not in a temple, not in a tomb, but in the shattered remains of a Bronze Age shipwreck off the coast of Turkey. In 1982, a young sponge diver named Mehmed Kakir was scanning the seabed near Uluburun, a narrow cape in southern Turkey. What caught his eye wasn't unusual.
Right. Turkey, early 80s. Got it.
At first, a greenish glimmer, half buried in sand. But when he pulled it out, he didn't know he was holding one of the oldest and most enigmatic artifacts ever recovered from the sea. The object
sounds like the plot to The Mask.
It was heavy, corroded, and ancient, clearly made of bronze. A mask, human-like in form, but the proportions were wrong. The eyes were too deep, the mouth strangely wide, the nose broken off long ago. It had no inscriptions, no decorations. Just an eerie, expressionless face, staring into nothing. What followed in the years after that discovery was
pretty sure it's like Loki's mask from the Mask series.
Where no one expected. The ship that shouldn't exist. Marine archaeologists from the
Gotta appreciate this
the ship that shouldn't
weird
years
AI
after that
though.
discovery.
Like, what we got going on here? Some of these are skulls, some of these are masks, some of these are it's just a big mashup. I do always like to kind of tease about shitty AI backgrounds. I mean, I've used some shitty AI backgrounds in my time too. But I'd like to think that I've grown as a person since then. But this one takes
was a
the
nightmare
cake.
no one expected. The ship.
Like, why are the treasure chests falling from the sky? It's like if you ask AI to make a shark, it'll always make the shark flying over the ocean instead of like coming out of the water. AI is so weird. I need some food soon too. What do we got here? I had a bit of a hoarding problem after losing everything. More about what it was than how much it was. So I really want to eliminate a lot. Well, I go thrifting. Let me go thrifting in your junk piles.
That shouldn't exist. Marine archaeologists from the Institute of Nautical Archaeology at Texas A&M.
See, now if this is AI, it's decent. Like, I could be convinced that this was a real photo, right? Of artifacts.
Began excavating the site in 1984. What they uncovered was staggering. A late Bronze Age shipwreck dating to around 1300 BCE, loaded with cargo from across the ancient world: copper ingots, ivory, Mycenaean pottery, amber from the Baltic, Egyptian scarabs, and Canaanite jars still sealed with resin. But it was the mask unofficially dubbed the Uluburun mask that never made it into the official catalog. Not at first. One of the divers on the early...
It's Jason's mask, y'all. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Like, literally. Right here, beaches. Let's do this. I'm going to do the rest of the show like this. All right. Mask on, bitches. Mask on, tits up.
team, Dr. Thomas Wills, wrote in his private notes, "There's something wrong with the bronze mask. Everyone feels it. No one wants to log it. We keep pushing it to the back of the crate. It's irrational, but it makes us nervous." Wills died of a sudden aneurysm.
Now I'm wearing it. Oh, he dies of an aneurysm. This is some King Tut's tomb nonsense. Yeah. Hold on. I'm not going to keep you on my face the whole time. I'll put you up on my head. There you go.
3 weeks after writing that. He was 37. A pattern begins the mask was eventually sent to a restoration lab in Bodrum.
Yeah, but they did you know that they were playing hockey in the Bronze Age, though, Titan? Did you know this is this is absolutely made out of bronze? You can tell because it's bronze. See? It's bronze because it's made out of bronze. Pay no attention to the plastic connectors and chipping and stuff. Nope, it's totally bronze. But yes. Mask on, tits up. Yes, that's the way I do it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It messes my lashes up. Hopefully it's not messing my makeup up.
But the technician assigned to clean and catalog, Layla Yilmaz, was found unresponsive in her apartment less than a month later. Official cause: carbon monoxide poisoning from a faulty heater. Her colleague, Mura Ekin, took
For real, like Ember's just saying there, the curse of King Tut's tomb is a great example because they'll blame the stuff on the curse of the tomb that happened in the late 70s and early 80s, like people dying and getting sick and getting cancer and stuff. It's like those people are like in their 80s, their 90s. What are you talking about?
with the task. He had a car accident on his way home from the lab spun off a dry road. No drugs or alcohol involved. No weather issues. He survived, but refused to return to the lab again. He reportedly told his supervisor, "I don't care what it is. That thing isn't ancient. It's wrong." No.
It's not ancient, huh? Nope, because it's a hockey mask. Oh, now I got my hair in the way. Keep wanting to put it on and take it back off because it looks cute on me. But I like the shine. My normal one I wear when I do my work is black. I don't usually wear this one. This one's a decoration that hangs above my desk because I am a Jason fanatic.
Official explanation. To this day, the Uluburun mask appears only briefly in official excavation reports. It is referred to simply as unidentified bronze object. Facial structure, 31 centimeters.
Yeah,
no further details.
It's like the ceremonial swords and stuff, right? They don't have to be functional. There's like swords that are like 9 feet long. They're ceremonial. There's helmets and stuff, and you'll see like the woo peddlers be like, "Oh, this is proof that there used to be giants." But there's giant masks that are way too big for anyone to ever wear, right? There are tiny masks that are way too small for anybody to ever wear. They have, you know, ceremonial or decorative purposes. Home decor didn't get invented in, you know, 1950 or whatever the hell people seem to think. People were, you know, if you were a mask maker, maybe you make a giant mask to hang on the wall in your shop or in your house. Maybe you make little masks to hang outside the shop so people can see what kind of stuff you do. Or it could be ceremonial or religious, right? But this reminds me of the Hack Heads. Now I gotta drop more links, because that was a Cryptic Corner episode, I think. Because it involves a werewolf. Hexam, yes, the Hexam Heads. There we go. Y'all gonna love this one. When was this published? It's episode 99. Look at that. Yeah. There we go. I'm going to drop that link in there for those ones, because the Hexam Heads was a good episode. It has, yes, it involves a werewolf and little stone heads and witchcraft and cult stuff, and it's all BS because they're made out of concrete by a modern construction worker who said he made them. But spoilers. Yeah.
No analysis of composition, purpose, or cultural origin. Independent researchers who tried to access the mask were denied. One of them, Professor Rolf Brandt from Heidelberg University, submitted 4 separate requests for access between 1992 and 1995. He never received a direct reply, only a formal letter stating the item was under long-term conservation. Brandt's home office burned down in 1996. No one was hurt. But his Aluburan research notes were gone. A mask without a face. The mask's surface is
what...
what...
look up this guy. It says Rolf Brandt. Rolf Brandt, Ulu Bruin mask. Is that the right spelling of the name? I'm guessing it's Brandt. Brandt. And Rolf might be ROLF or ROLPH. I don't know what it's short for. No, it switched it to, when I switched it over, it switched it back to Rolf. Okay. I'm not finding anything about absolute age, because there's a shipwreck. That's what this is all. Okay, hold on. Let's pull this over. So this is basically a breakdown of the shipwreck that we're looking at. Absolute age of the Uluburun shipwreck, a key late Bronze Age time capsule from the East Mediterranean, it's, you know, on the coast of Turkey. Let's see. Is there any mention of a mask in here? What about Brandt? Face. Head. Doesn't seem like there's any record of this mask existing. What was the artifact number they gave? They did give an artifact number, didn't they? It was a while ago, but...
Facial structure, 31 centimeters. No further details. No analysis of composition, purpose, or...
31, we'll try that. 31 centimeters. Okay. 31. Let's see. If I look up bronze, it's going to bring up Bronze Age everywhere. Let's see.
As unidentified bronze object, facial structure.
Unidentified. We'll try unidentified. No, not that yet. We're not ready for that. No, you're getting ahead of us. All right, here we go.
31 centimeters. No further details. No one briefly in official excavation reports. It is referred to simply as unidentified bronze object, facial structure.
Object. This object can now offer an important objects of ivory and gold. Let's see. Raw material from materials recovered include about 10 tons of copper ingot or ingots, at least a ton of tin ingots, more than half a ton of terebinth resin, in approximately 2/3 of the 150 kainite jars aboard, 175 ingots of glass, ebony logs, ostrich eggshells, elephant tusk, hippopotamus teeth, logs of African blackwood, and various other food, craft, and medicinal items. In addition to these raw materials, manufactured goods found in the wreck include a range of ceramics, Syro-Palestinian, Cypriot, and Mycenaean Greek. Let's try this word. Faience cups. Pat Lowinger. I'm paging Pat Lowinger to help me with these some of these terms. I'm not sure what faience means, but it's neither here nor there because we're talking about the mask. If the mask is listed here, copper alloy vessels, objects in ivory and gold, jewelry, and the earliest known example of wooden writing boards, diptychs. The origins and destination of the ship have been actively sought within the world of the East Mediterranean, in the central Levantine coast, in the Aegean, respectively. Oh, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Oh my gosh, I think I have that somewhere. Let me check. It's like a rock version of it. Anyway, back to our mask.
31 centimeters. Dark and even. Some described it as almost obsidian-like. Its design didn't match anything known from the Hittites, Mycenaeans, or Egyptians, despite the Uluburan wreck carrying goods from all three cultures. It looked human, but not quite. Some said resembled a drowned face. Others said it looked like someone screaming quietly, with their mouth barely
You know
open.
who has a drowned face? Fucking Jason Voorhees.
The disappearances in 2001, a team from the British Museum attempted to acquire the mask for temporary display. Within 6 months, the curator in charge of the request, Dr. Eleanor Finch, resigned abruptly, citing irreconcilable differences with leadership. She later told a colleague that the mask should never be in a room with people again. The Turkish government declined the transfer request, stating the mask was not in condition for display. It has not been seen in public since. Was it ever meant?
I want citations needed. There's no citations for any of this, and all the papers I can find on this wreck don't mention a mask at all. And you're starting to piss me off. Uluburun mask. Citations needed.
To be found? Here's what makes the Uluburun mask truly...
It does, like the old claymation Rankin Bass Mark Twain stories about time travel. It looks like the face of the devil in the claymation. That one did. That's not the actual mask. That's just art that someone found. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually used the clips from that. That was absolute nightmare fuel. That was in like a kids program. Crazy. The same company that made Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all that. And Year Without a Santa Claus.
disturbing. It shouldn't have been there. Among the hundreds of recovered items from the wreck, almost everything was trade goods. Practical, valuable, identifiable. But the mask? It was just there. No record, no match, no context. Some theorize it was a ritual object, others say it was meant to be sunk, disposed of. One diver, who asked to remain anonymous, said this: "Some cargo is meant to be delivered. Some is meant to be lost forever." The missing documentation. In 2004,
Yeah, missing documentation. How convenient.
Turkish archaeologist Dr. Selim Karakaya gave a lecture in Ankara titled "Anomalous Bronze Objects in Mediterranean Wrecks." The room wasn't full. Most attendees were students or minor faculty. But halfway through,
I mean, they could work. Hippo tusk could work for like some. If you carved them down a little bit for some orc cosplay. Yeah. Just thinking outside the box.
Karakaya paused at slide number 47. It showed a grainy, high-contrast photo of the Uluburun mask taken, allegedly, in 1985, before restoration began.
Let me see
His
it.
voice reportedly dropped when he said, "This was not documented in the initial recovery report. But I assure you, it was there." The photo vanished from the official slide release.
So any evidence that this thing actually existed at all vanished. But don't worry, I have it right here. This is the bronze mask. It's made it into my collection, and now I'll use it to conquer the world.
No record of the mask is available in Karakaya's published proceedings. When asked about it years later, he claimed, "I must have confused it with something else." Unwanted attention in 2007. A Turkish journalist named Aydin Kaplan began investigating the mask's history after stumbling upon it in a footnote from an out-of-print diving manual. He filed multiple Freedom of Information requests, contacted several museums.
Out-of-print diving manual. Just that's it. No source, no citation.
And even interviewed 2 retired divers from the original excavation. His reporting was gaining traction until his apartment in Istanbul was broken into. Nothing was stolen, but his notes, digital backups, and printed interviews were missing. Even the microcassette recorder he used had been wiped. Kaplan disappeared
Get to the part with how Jim Carrey finds it. That's the important part, right?
from public life shortly afterward. No article was ever published. His last blog post simply read,
I like
Some-
that Helen with 2 L's, 'cause you the devil, girl.
"Things are meant to remain underwater." The death mask theory? Among fringe historians and occult researchers, the mask developed a reputation far beyond archaeology. Several claimed it was a death mask, not in the ceremonial sense, but literal. A containment vessel. Theorist Leif Skrenson published a now-banned
Be nice if you'd show us a picture of it.
monograph titled "The 13 Seals," objects that should not be unearthed. The Uluburun mask appeared as item number 5. His theory? That it was forged not to honor the dead, but to trap something within. He cited the strange bronze composition, the absence of oxidation, and most disturbingly, a microscopic pattern around the inner rim of the
13
mask.
seals. I'm not finding any reference to that either. 13 seals. Except unless you're talking about like the 13 seals on Excalibur. That's a thing. What are you talking about, bub? Clarification needed. You hear Discord pings? Yeah, there's something going on kind of important in Discord, so I apologize. I was just trying to keep track of it. It's, yeah. Some people might be aware of what I'm referring to, but it was just something I didn't want to lose track of, but I closed it, so it won't go off anymore. I apologize.
Barely visible to the naked eye, but etched like a spiral of text. No one has translated it. No one knows what language it is. Skrenson himself was institutionalized in 2012.
That reminds me of the One Ring from The Lord of the Rings. I need to know what this inscription says. It's some sort of Elvish. Absence of oxidation could mean someone cleaned it very well, or it's just not that old. Yeah.
Doing what doctors describe.
I question its existence at all, but I'm willing to give them a chance.
As a dissociative psychotic episode involving auditory hallucinations. He had reportedly been staring at an enlarged photo of the mask for over 72 hours straight. The Bodrum lockdown. In 2015, a blackout occurred at the Bodrum Museum of Underwater Archaeology.
If it's on streamer mode and I don't have it pulled up, that I don't know when you all say something and something important could happen and I'd miss it. So I just got it pulled up on my phone. I've got Discord here too, so it's not a big deal. I don't get the alerts if I turn it on streamer mode and with what's going on, I just want to make sure I'm in the loop.
Exactly 7 hours. All CCTV feeds failed, and the internal security logs were wiped. The only room affected, the restricted vault. Rumors spread that the Uluburan...
This is like SCP level. I think there is an SCP mask, like a killer mask or whatever, isn't there? Let me see. SCP mask. Possessive mask. SCP-035 is the cursed mask.
Mask had been moved. A few staff members were reassigned shortly afterward. One anonymous technician told a forum under the username Amberek. They brought it back up, but it wasn't alone this time. The post was deleted within 24 hours. The account vanished.
I wonder if my presence online is going to be vanished because I covered this topic. Oh, Aunt Jer, sending you love and hugs. Love and hugs. It does kind of look like a TR up there when I, yeah. I'm a princess. Princess of Crystal Lake.
A mask without a mouth? One final anomaly. 3D scans of the mask performed during restoration in 1999 and again in 2009 show different proportions. In the earlier scan, the mouth is almost sealed shut, just a faint line. In the later scan, the mouth is visibly open by several millimeters. Some claim this is due to temperature expansion, corrosion, or poor data capture. Others believe the mask is changing.
Where are these reports at? You're just making claims. I can't find any reference to any research material on this mask. Did it change? To just show that it changed? I can't. No scans. I don't find any reference to your scans. Where are your citations? Are you just making this up as you go?
Forensic modeler, brought in to compare scans, made the mistake of joking. Maybe it's starting to speak again. He reportedly left the lab that same day and never returned. The academic silence. As of today,
Yeah, it was scanned as recently as 2009, but there's no pictures of it anywhere online. Right? It was 1999 it was scanned, and then in 2009 it was scanned, is what they said, I believe. And if so, that would mean it had some modern provenance, which could be traced, right? And there would be photographic records of it, not just not just one picture even. It'd have photographs of it from all different angles. And detailed write-up about about its appearance and such. But because it's here in my hands instead of in the museum, they'll never know the secrets of my bronze mask. Never ever know the secrets.
no peer-reviewed article has ever been published about the Uluburun mask. It remains classified in public archives as unverified bronze. Artifact. Cultural affiliation unknown. It is not on display. It is not listed in Turkey's official heritage registry. And yet, multiple excavation reports available in academic circles show it clearly in photographs, sketches, and shipping logs.
Show the photographs, show the sketches, show the freaking shipping logs.
One private email, leaked in 2017 from a European university exchange, reads, "The mask is real, and every attempt to study it has ended. Poorly. What we know and what we refuse to acknowledge. Thousands of artifacts have been recovered from Bronze Age shipwrecks. Most of them are catalogued, analyzed, and displayed with pride. They fill the shelves of museums, enrich textbooks, and help us understand the flow of ancient trade and technology. But not this one. The Uluburun mask is treated differently, not officially, but
It's treated like it doesn't exist because it doesn't seem like that it exists. That's my interpretation at this point, because you talk about sketches and pictures and logs about its discovery, but you're not showing us any of that. You're not giving us any resources. You're just alluding to it.
unmistakably. It's passed from hand to hand like something fragile and radioactive. Every researcher involved either distances themselves or disappears. Not always literally, but professionally. Ask archaeologists about the mask, and you'll get polite deflections. Ask divers, and you'll get silence.
Or maybe none of them will understand what the hell you're talking about at all. What is synetial?
Ask the records, and you'll find gaps. Could it be psychological? Of course, there are rational explanations. Confirmation bias, mass suggestion, the power of suggestion working over time on a superstitious mind, working long hours underwater, handling ancient remains, isolated from the surface. It's easy to get spooked. Many professionals who've
It's also easy to provide sources and images of your claims. Like you all saw, right? There's nothing here as far as citations for any of this, which is that fine. You don't have to put the citations in the description. I love it when people do. I don't always put citations in my description, but when I come online and do this kind of stuff, like you'll see me go to this research paper. Hold on, let me clear my throat. You'll see me go to a research paper, and you'll see the title of the research paper and the authors on the research paper. So why can't you do that if it's that simple for me?
worked with artifacts describe an uncanny sense of presence, even dread. So maybe that's all the mask is. A blank slate for fear. Maybe. But most objects don't erase slides or change shape. And most ancient relics don't come with sealed vaults and digital blackouts. The final transfer in 2018.
Did you see
without
that? I had a
public
Guy
notice.
Fawkes mask. Of course. I don't have a Guy Fawkes mask, just the hockey mask. Just the Bronze Age hockey mask. From the Turkey Pazuzus. Not to be confused with Labubus.
The Turkish Ministry of Culture authorized the movement of several sensitive artifacts to a new facility outside Ankara. Among them, according to an anonymous logistics employee, was a large bronze object matching the Uluburan mask's description. It was reportedly placed in a custom-built containment case, temperature stabilized, light sealed, RFID tagged, and GPS monitored. Since then,
Okay, does it got a number? Does it got an item number?
no mention of the mask has surfaced in public records, not even internal memos. It has gone dark, completely. Theories, whispers, warnings online, the legend has grown.
I can't find any of that either. Let me see. If we just do Ulu Burun mask. Okay, so it says there is no Ulu. I'm just going to keep the mask off my head for now. Uluburan mask, but there is a gold funerary mask of a skull from the Uluburun shipwreck. Okay, let's see. Glass ingots. Golden funerary mask. Let's see. Okay. And it looks like, it looks like this. This is the golden funerary mask from the Uluburun shipwreck in the Bodrum Museum of Underwater Archaeology. But it's like a thing that goes over the mouth and the eyes. Nothing like what they're talking about here.
Some believe the mask is cursed, like the Hope Diamond or Tutankhamun's tomb. Others think it was a failed magical
I don't
experiment.
think either of those are cursed either. And we've covered both of those. We covered the curse of King Tut and the curse of the Hope Diamond in the treasure episode, I want to say. Was it the treasure episode? You guys probably remember better than I do.
An artifact designed to trap a god, a demon, or the soul of a tyrant. There are even those who think the mask isn't human at all, that it was copied from something else. An ancient visitor, a forgotten species.
Just say ... else. Hold on. It did ... else.
A warning disguised as art.
Tutankhamun. You better not be tooting in my cumin. I need that to make tacos.
But the most unsettling theory of all? That the mask isn't finished, that it's waiting for something or someone. The Diver's Journal in 2020. An unmarked package was delivered to a university archive in Izmir. Inside was a waterproof case containing a leather-bound notebook. The name etched on the front, Mehmed Kakir. Inside, among faded...
Mehmed Kakir. Let's try that one. Mehmed Kakir. It's like a Turkish football player. It's a Turkish football player. Okay.
sketches of the wreck and hand-drawn maps was a single line written across the last page. It wasn't asleep, just buried. No one knows if the journal is authentic. But handwriting analysts believe the signature matches official diving logs from the 1980s. Kakir has never spoken publicly about what he found.
You think they did that, Sumami? Would they do that? Question mark, exclamation point. I don't know. Dot.
That day, he lives in quiet retirement, refusing interviews. The weight of what we unearth. There's a dangerous arrogance in archaeology. This belief that the past exists for us to uncover, classify, and control. But some objects aren't lost. They're hidden. On purpose. And when we drag them back into the light, they bring shadows with them. The Alubrun mask was supposed to sink. And maybe we were never supposed to pull it back.
All right. Well, that was as presented to us on Archaea Attack. I kind of wonder if they give dates or anything for anything else in citations. Like, uncover a lost technology of ancient civilizations, from forgotten machines to impossible materials. The channel explores inventions that defy modern logic. Okay. So I imagine they're going to do like the London Hammer at some point. Maybe that cowboy boot that Robert Baugh has or whatever. Not is it a cowboy boot? Some of the with a petrified bone in it. Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff. There's nails that allegedly were found deep in the earth and things like that. I'll clear my throat again. I think I might be getting a cold. And there goes my mask again, but my mask flattened my hair, and I don't like how my hair looks when it's flat. I like it to have some body on the side. Oh. So, fluff that back up. There we go. That's more vibin'. I'm not putting you back on, mask. Where'd you go? But I will hold you. Where did it go? Oh no, it must have grew a mind of its own and run off. Doom. Nope. Aha! I caught you. It tried to hide under the bed. But I caught it. You'll never get away. I'm gonna have to put it back. Alright. I'll be right back. Alright. It's back on its hook. We are safe. We are safe for another day. Safe for another day. And I gotta fix my hair again now because it wrestled my hair all into a mess. I swear, the things I do for you people. Alright, so. Yeah, that was the cursed mask. That's gonna wrap this segment up for today. That was our weekend weird. This episode might kind of run a little short, but we will survive. I do still have another segment of the show to go, and it's going to be about the meaning lines of Savos. So stick around for that. But the meaning lines of Savos. But when it comes to our weekend weird, I think that's going to wrap it up. Just big monkeys doing our best. That is exactly right. Only 8 likes? What? Yeah, it's hard to get people to like me. I'm obnoxious. Let's see. But we are keeping pretty steady viewers this morning, so that's nice. It's nice that you guys stick around for that. Now that this segment's over, I guess I need to say my closing for it. I got a little bit of indigestion. It'll take me a minute, but yeah. What do you all think about this cursed mask? I was going to do there was a couple other cursed masks I was going to do, but the thing about them was the other one was a Japanese mask, and I didn't want to double down on Japan and have people think I'm just a weeb channel. But I guess it could have been a Japan special episode, but that would have been better to do with the brown bear attack that was in Japan, which was our previous episode of Bree's Bestiary, because we're doing Summer of the Man-Eater, and you're not going to want to miss that. No one wants to miss that. They're talking about animals that eat peoples. But yeah, you tell me what you want to see on this channel by voting on the polls, because this week's topic where we covered the mask, that was specifically because my Hive, my audience, my family online, they all voted for that, overwhelmingly voted for this mask. So your vote can have some power over what we watch each week. So remember that and look for those polls when they come up in your feed, and just give it a little click and let us know what you want to see. Until next time, please remember to be kind and take care. All right. And again, like I say at this part of the show, every day, every Saturday, not every day, don't go, because there's more show to come. This is just wrapping up that little segment, and I'll cut that segment out and publish it so that it plays at a later time of the day too, if you're more into watching stuff later. But I need to take an intermission, which usually includes like a little potty break, and then vote for the least popular topic. That way at least everything's getting some feedback, so I know what y'all don't like to see. Anyhow, I'm gonna take an intermission. I'm gonna run a ad for Maya's channel, the Bad Science Sunday show, and then I'll run a second intermission, and we will be back with Bree's Bestiary. So do not go anywhere. right. Hello, and welcome to another installment of Bree's Bestiary. Something that we wrap up the show with. It's usually a shorter segment. But we're good on time this morning, so we can actually run this out a little bit because this is one of my favorite pieces of animal history when it comes to the concept of summer of the man-eaters. This and the Jersey Shore shark attacks are the two that I know the most about. I actually went and saw these guys though. These are the Tsavo lions, and we're bad teeth to blame for the man-eater's taste for human flesh. But yeah, there are two. They were rugs for a while, so as you could expect, they're not in the greatest taxidermy condition, but it's well done. It's professionally done, but you can tell they've had their age of wear and tear. But I actually found a video that was put out by them that we're gonna watch in a minute. But I'm gonna read about them real quick for you here first. Tucked within an arresting collection of taxidermied mammals of Africa in the Rice Gallery, the man-eating lions of Tsavo are two of the Field Museum's most famous residents and also the most infamous. Yeah, the movie The Ghost in the Darkness with Val Kilmer, who I have always had a big crush on since he was Mad Mardigan in Willow. I grew up with that movie and I always had a crush on him. I wanted to be Sorshot. And actually Michael Douglas is pretty sexy in that too, as Remington, but that's a fictional character. The character that Kilmer was playing is actually a real guy, General Patterson, and he's the one who ended up actually killing the lions, but not before they took their toll on his men. In March 1898, the British started building a railway bridge over the Tsavo River in Kenya, but the project took a deadly turn when over the next 9 months, two maneless male lions mysteriously developed a taste for humans and went on a killing spree. I don't want to say that these were transgender lions, or should I say lionesses, because they didn't have manes. I don't know. The lions of Tsavo don't tend to have big full manes anyway, and these ones were, as you can see, almost look like a lioness. Mm-hmm. And there are lionesses with full manes too. So, sexual expression and the animal kingdom is funny that way. Regardless, let's see. The rise and fall of the Tsavo lions. Crews tried and failed to scare the lions away, forcing people to flee the area and halting construction on the bridge. Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, the civil engineer at the helm of the railway project, took matters into his own hands so that work could continue on the railway. The Lions' reign of terror ended when Colonel Patterson, no relation to our current MacArthur curator of mammals, Bruce Patterson, shot and killed them in late 1898. The railroad was completed a few months later. He later told the story of the lions and the hunt that eventually took them down in his book, The Man-Eaters of Tsavo and Other East African Adventures. Patterson reported that the lions' feeding frenzy took the lives of 135 railway workers in native Africa. Later research by the Field Museum scientists drastically reduced the estimate to 35, which is still disconcerting. The Lions' journey to Chicago. Patterson turned the fearsome felines into trophy rugs for from his hut, and they I was supposed to say for his hut. Trophy rugs for his hut, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't write for the Field Museum. I'm not going to judge their, anyway. And they remained harmless floor ornaments until 1925 when he sold them to the Field Museum during a trip through Chicago. And the museum staff restored the lions to their former glory, minus the appetite, by mounting them as taxidermy specimens and displaying them in a diorama. In addition to Patterson's written account, several movies are based on this tale of the man-eating lions, including The Ghost in the Darkness. The 1996 film contains some glaring inaccuracies, including casting lions with manes for the part, but the story captivated moviegoers and increased interest in the infamous lions. A third man-eating lion from Mufue, Zimbabwe, dined on 6 people in 1991. That specimen is also on display in the museum on the ground level. I've seen that one too. All right, and then let's talk about the study, but instead of reading more of this, I'm actually going to let the Field Museum present it to us here. This is the Brains Group, which is what they present about their lions. So I don't know if that's trademarked or not, but
the man-eating lions of Tsavo are without a doubt 2 of the most famous specimens on display at the Field Museum, thanks in part to the 1996 film The Ghost in the Darkness. But the movie isn't without its flaws and inaccuracies. For instance, it was filmed in South Africa instead of Kenya, and the lions in the film have
Kilmer, oh my gosh, yeah. I'll blame Doc Holliday for turning me into a slut. Because I like if I was any character from there, I'd be like a saloon girl, right, from Tombstone.
gorgeous manes and were from a zoo in Ontario, but the drama is based off of true events. The tale went like this. In 1898, a duo of lions began attacking and consuming railway workers in Tsavo, Kenya. Their story was immortalized by Colonel John H. Patterson's first-hand account in his book, The Man-Eaters of Tsavo and Other East African Adventures. Patterson was a civil engineer and was assigned the task of completing a bridge for the Kenya-Uganda Railway, but a week after his arrival, a pair of male lions began dragging men out of their tents in the middle of the night, their screams filling the air. First estimates for how many people were attacked range between 28 and 135 men over the period of 9 months, before Patterson was able to finally shoot and kill the pair within a few weeks of one another. He turned them into living room rugs, and they existed as such until...
They are huge, though. Look how big... I mean, we got some forced perspective going on here, too, but if we go back... Hold on.
135 men over the period of 9 months, before Patterson was able to finally shoot and kill the pair within a few weeks of one another. He turned them into living room rugs, and they existed as such.
And they don't really look like male lions. They kind of look like lionesses. But it's not odd for two young male lions to form coalitions until they can form their own pride. That's normal. That's how they disperse into the environment when they mature. When the males reach a certain age, they go off by themselves, and they may hook up with other young males or leave with other young males, litter mates like their own brothers, or they may meet up with another lion while they're out traveling. Sometimes pride will let another male adult lion in, but if he seems to be a problem, they'll drive him right away. But these guys worked just the two of them. No other pride members.
While passing through Chicago in 1925, he sold them to the Field Museum, and we promptly turned them into the taxidermy mounts you can still see on display today. In 2009, 111 years after they were killed, scientists were able to examine hairs from their pelts, looking specifically at bone collagen and hair keratin values. The levels of these values reflect the sort of things the lions had been eating in the last years and months of their lives, because grazers, like antelope, leave different levels than carnivorous humans. Those results estimate that together, the two lions consumed about 35 people, 100 less than Colonel Patterson's estimates, but still 35 individual human beings. That all being said, there's still a...
Like, that's over 9 months. That's a lot of people. We were one of their primary prey. They were, they decided that humans, like Titan says, but our tents are basically pantries for them. They tried a lot of ways to keep them out, or to scare them off, lots of fire and big thorny walls and stuff, but...
Bit of an unanswered question. Why did they do it? The theories range from food scarcity and desperation, or that the lions possibly gained a taste for human flesh after feeding on railway workers who had died of other causes. Another consideration is that one of the lions suffered major dental trauma and had evidence of a serious infection, which could have precluded it from hunting and taking down its typical game.
That's why I started hunting humans. I broke a tooth recently, and I've had to stop hunting my natural prey and just been feeding on humans lately. So I can relate to this lion and explain from a first-hand perspective what it's like to go through that. Humans are just easier to catch than actual wildlife.
But according to the 2009 research, that lion, the one with the dental damage, had a record of 24 humans consumed, meaning its partner in crime consumed at least 11 people too. Another way of looking at this is to say human carcasses comprised 30% and 8% of each lion's diet respectively the last 3 months of their lives. So we decided to go talk with Dr. Bruce Patterson, curator of mammals here at the Field Museum, about some of
the one they just said, hey, not related to Colonel Patterson.
These theories.
There's a theory that developed actually by a British colonial in India. And what he found was that in case after case, these man-eating big cats were almost invariably crippled in some way. And when an apex predator is unable to pursue its normal...
So, about the Barbary lion, there is speculation. I think they've done some genetic research and at least found that there's partial Barbary lions in captivity. None in the wild, though. Yeah, North Africa is pretty much been wiped out of its regarding its apex predators. There's no more. There was the Atlas bear that lived up there, the only bear that lived in Africa, and it lived in the same area, the Barbary Coast, the Atlas Mountains. That's where the Atlas lion was from. Which is the Barbary lion, sometimes called the Atlas lion. The Atlas leopards. There's actually been sightings of them in modern times, but they're very scant. Anyway, that's a topic for another day.
Normal prey. Often they'll turn to something slower that sees worse, hears worse, and navigates worse in the dark. Now, I'm holding the skull of the first man-eater, and if you look at this part of its jaw, you'll see a broken lower right canine. Mm-hmm. Patterson thought that that was the bullet hole, but it's actually the pulp cavity of the tooth where the nerves and blood vessels that nurture the living tooth reside. If you look around the edges of it, you can see that the tooth is actually polished by wear. But we have other evidence in the skull itself that tell us that this injury happened years before the lion's eventual death. The most eloquent testimony to the remodeling of the skull in the wake of this injury comes from this upper right canine. You can see on the left side that the upper canine is normally held outside and behind the lower canine, but with this tooth out of its mouth, the upper canine is rotated inward and forward to the point where its tip is resting on the stump of the broken tooth. It's been said by one British wag that these lions viewed the arrival of 3,000 railway workers in their territory with considerable enthusiasm.
Yeah, all of a sudden they just had an open buffet.
Yeah, that way its tooth was rotated around like that's very interesting, or like almost like pointed forward. You know, like when you get your wisdom teeth pulled out, how your rest of your teeth kind of adjust their spacing and kind of takes the strain off of your teeth. Because if you don't get them removed, they can start cracking your other teeth. Because wisdom teeth are big. I had mine removed. It's not fun.
What about this one? I mean, these two were working in pairs. So if this one wasn't suffering that same kind of like dental malady, why would this one start consuming humans as well?
So these guys presumably lived together all their lives. We think this one was guilty by association with this one. Lions usually eat things that eat grass, like zebra, wildebeest, and buffalo. And so most lions share the chemical signature of their grass-feeding prey, but a man-eating lion will show this anomaly of C3 photosynthesis in its tissues. And this lion...
What other... Because like would that make a difference between like a lion that had adapted to eating chimps or baboons, animals that are more omnivorous and don't eat a lot of grass? And humans do eat grass. We eat, corn is a grass, oats are grass. There's a lot of grass that we eat as a species. Not like, I guess we prepare it though. I don't know. Bamboo was a grass.
Not only showed a stronger signature than that, but when we analyzed his hair, this one had a huge spike towards man-eating, this one hardly any at all.
The nature of science is that each of these ideas needs to be tested, retested, and examined. And recently, we got to sit down with Dr. Larissa DeSantis from Vanderbilt University. Her research focuses on studying extinction events in certain Pleistocene species, like the saber-toothed cats. She does this by examining dental wear patterns called microwear in animals like hyenas and lions. Hyenas eat a lot of bones compared to African lions, which leaves certain obvious wear patterns on their teeth. But by noticing and studying changes in microwear patterns of an African lion's teeth, it can mean big changes in their available diets. She was curious. If the Tsavo lions were desperate enough to consume even the human's bones, then
There's a difference between C3 and C4 signatures. I don't remember everything, but I used to be an archaeobotanist. Hell yeah, are you for real? That's so cool. Yeah, if you want to break down that scale, the carbon scale, and how it relates to animals, yeah, that'd be really cool. Because yeah, it's like when we talk about Gigantopithecus, for instance, there used to be a lot of ideas that it was a bamboo eater like a panda, but studies of its diet show it trended more towards a variety of plant matter and fruit. Like I think it was a C3 signature as opposed to a bamboo signature, which I don't know what that one is. But yeah, anyway, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
could indicate that a lack of their typical prey is what drove them to turn to humans.
So one of the things we try to do is understand the ecology of these animals, but obviously we can't observe what they were doing in the past, so we can use clues from both today and from the specimens.
My grandma said they're wisdom teeth because when she was young and the dentists were rare, you had to be clever to figure out how to extract them yourself. Only the wise managed it. Oh, that sounds painful.
Themselves. And one of the things we can do is study their teeth. The microwear essentially will capture the diet of the animal over the past few days to weeks of its life, so we can get some idea of it, whether it was sort of eating lots of flesh or sort of more generalized like lions are today, or if it was sort of concentrating on eating lots of bone, much like hyenas. Before we can do all of this, we actually have to study the modern mammals alive today that we can observe and we know what they're doing, correlate that known feeding behaviors. We can use that as sort of a modern baseline to then going back into the past to assess what ancient animals were doing. So then we can look back and see, were times really tough at the end of the Pleistocene before the animals went extinct? Were humans sort of competing with a lot of these carnivores for prey resources? Were they sort of...
I always like how, when you talk about the Pleistocene, especially the end of the Pleistocene, there's so much focus on La Brea because that's where there's all these different species all together. But there were other ecosystems too that we don't know about. Like there's species that live in mountains, in deep forests where fossilization is super, super rare that we'll never even know about. There may have been a mountain Smilodon subspecies or species that lived up in the Rockies, and we're never going to find out about it, and we're never going to know about it. Worse than that is species that get stuck on islands, because species that get stuck on islands get super freaking weird, and they start to develop like unique characteristics. Like, for instance, like a bird will develop flightlessness and start getting really heavy if there's no major predators in the area. You see it with like the dodo and the moa, the elephant bird. Even there's like flightless goose that lives in Hawaii that follows that pattern. But so many, with tectonics throughout time, so many islands raise and fall and wash away and leave no trace behind, that there may have been, like, even during the Mesozoic, during the entire Cenozoic, during the Paleozoic, oh my gosh, there islands would have been crawling with weird things that we'll never ever know about, that just the ocean chewed them up and swallowed them down, and burned them up in the mantle, covered them with volcanic rock and sunk them to the center of the earth, and we'll never know anything about them. But they were there and they existed. We can know that just by probability, you know, by the way we know ecology works. We know that happened, and it's so sad. And I'll lay awake at night thinking about all the cool island species that we'll never know anything about, whether they were dinosaurs or mammals or synapsids or giant terrestrial eurypterids, you know, all sorts of crazy things, flightless pterosaurs. I just want to know. I want to know what they were like.
Desperately consuming carcasses before they went extinct, and we can actually test some of those ideas and overturn some of those ideas, in fact. But in this case, we're really fascinated by the Tsavo lions because they had a notable difference in their diet, which was...
They were people eating
Exactly.
lions.
Some of the questions are, why was that? And there's some historical accounts of bone crunching and whatnot. So was it that they were sort of desperate? It could have been drought events that were happening, and a reduction in the prey base.
Can you walk us through how you get one of these impressions?
Sure. So the first thing we have to do is we have to clean the teeth. We let them dry, and then we use this dental impression material, which will mix and form a mold, and then we wait for that to harden, and then we remove the mold.
This is actually what a dentist would use. When you contact the dental supply company, do you say, hi, I'm a paleontologist, or I'm a zoologist, and I want to get some impressions of a man-eating lion? Do you think they hear that very often?
No, so I usually don't tell them, but I do tell my dentist, and he thinks it's pretty funny. And then when we get back to Vanderbilt, we will...
I've had that stuff in my mouth a couple times. Yeah, getting a crown fitted.
Actually take a little bit of putty and wrap it around the mold itself so that we can pour epoxy in. And the epoxy is able to capture all of the fine details of the tooth itself, so it's an exact replica of the tooth, and so we can actually look at 100x magnification, even higher, and capture all of the details.
Wow.
And quantify that in 3 dimensions.
So we're not actually going to know today the answer to this burning question.
No, it's going to take a little while. It's always the most fun part of the job, is when you actually figure out what they were eating or how they were behaving.
Yeah.
Either in 1898 or millions of years ago.
So Larissa's got a little bit of work to do back in her lab, but here's the point we're trying to get across. These lions have been dead for over a century, yet with new technologies and creative interpretations, we're able to pursue questions about what motivated their actions in the final months of their lives. Bruce says,
well, thank you so much for looking that up, Accurse. Appreciate it. That's so like I said, I'm a cryptozoologist, but I like cryptobotany too, so.
Is it better?
You know, it's astonishing that 117 years after their death, we can be talking about not only how many people they ate, but differences in the behavior of 2 animals, all from a skin and skull in a museum collection. And when you think of the hundreds of thousands of specimens downstairs, and all the stories they have to tell that were short of manpower and time to develop.
Yeah.
The value of museum collections is just astronomical.
What do y'all think?
The Brain Scoop is made possible by the Field Museum and the Harris Family Foundation. Larissa DeSantis' research is supported by the National Science Foundation.
So what do y'all think about the lions of Tsavo? They were pretty interesting case of history and science kind of coming to different conclusions, because Patterson would have you believe that there was 135 victims. But the the science seems to indicate that there were only a few dozen, about 35. Now, next week on the Breeze Bestiary, we are looking at next week's Man-Eater. Oh, it's going to be tiger shark. So I believe we're going to Hawaii for that one. So bring your sunscreen and your surfboard. Because we're going to be looking at what they call the garbage can of the sea. You don't want to get chomped on by a tiger shark. Those jaws are made for breaking sea turtles. But up ahead, we also still have on the list, we have polar bears. We have saltwater crocodiles. And we have a lot more, I think. But yeah, we've covered what we've covered so far. Was the last week we had the brown bears. Week before that we had man-eating leopards. Then we did the great white shark. We had tigers before that. And then we have bull shark. And we started with hyenas. Yeah, hyenas were our first one. So it's a fun topic to discuss, like what causes an animal to start targeting humans as prey. We like to think we're above the animal kingdom, but we're just another cog in it, really. You're just, you're one night in the wild away from becoming part of the circle of life, as Simba eats you. And then when he dies, his body becomes the grass, and the gazelle eat the grass. So, the circle of life. Isn't it beautiful? Charlatan's Web will be back on the 29th. So that is next Friday. And looks like it might change. I may flip it around depending on availability of my guests. But it looks like it's either going to be the Medical Medium or Dwight York's UFO Nation. But one of those is going to happen. So come check that out as well. And yeah, Hail Bigfoot. Hail Bigfoot. All right. So watch for the polls. The polls will be back very soon, probably within a couple hours at least. Maybe within minutes, depending on how long it takes me to eat or what I decide to eat when I'm done here. So you got to go out there and vote. Vote to let us know what you want to see on your Saturday mornings. Yes, we're going for Saturday morning cartoon vibes. I am a cartoon character. So, yeah, I'm a little loud, a little obnoxious, but I also try to teach you stuff. So beware of that. I slip science and stuff in here when I'm when I'm talking about cryptozoology and paranormal research, when I'm looking at folklore versus history, or actual zoology when the topic comes up. So appreciate everybody for sticking around. And we're about 20 minutes early, but I'm hungry, and I'm gonna call it a show here. So what do I say? Please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. Class dismissed.
Yo, VIPs, let's wick it. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the light. I glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax the trunk like a candle. Dance, bum rush, speaking that boom, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Dead bed. When I play it on melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. Better gain weight. Better hit bulls like the kid don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Well, now that the party is jumping with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping, quick to the point, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them, we're not quick and nimble. Go crazy when I hear a cymbal, a high top with a souped up gimbo. On a roll, time to go solo, rolling in my 5.0, rack top down when my hair can blow. Girl is on standby, waving just to say hi, did you stop? No, I just drove by, kept on pursuing to the next stop, busting left, headed in the next block was dead, yo. I continue to A1A, Beachfront Avenue. Girls were hot, wearing less than bikinis, rock man lovers, driving Lamborghinis, jealous, cause I'm out getting my shade with a gauge, a vanilla with a 9, ready for the jumps off the wall, jumps at the deal, cause I'm full of 8-ball gunshots, ranged out like a bell, grab my 9, all I heard was shells, falling on the concrete, real fast, guns in the car, slammed on the gas, bumper to bumper, avenues packed, try to get away before the jackers jack, police on the scene, know what I mean, they passed me up and running on the dope beat, if there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it, check out the hook while DJ revolves it, ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby. Well, take it cause I'm a lyrical poet. Miami's on the scene in case you didn't know it. My town created all the bass sound enough to shake and kick holes in the ground. My style's like a chemical spill. Feasible rhymes, shaking vision and feel. Conducted and formed is a hell of a concept. We make it hype. You wanna step with this? Shape plays on the fade, slice like a ninja cut, like a razor blade so fast. Other DJs say, damn, if a rhyme was a drug, I'd sell it by the gram. Keep a composure when it's time to get loose. Monetize by the mic while I kick my juice. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while TV revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby.
With all the noise, pseudoscience, and political rhetoric clogging the airwaves about transgender people, it can be difficult to understand what's really happening and what's really true. Good news, everyone! Welcome to The Transpositions, your compass in the rugged landscape of transgender issues. Here, we strive to be the beacon of authenticity, providing a platform that amplifies the voices and experiences of the transgender community. From breaking news to in-depth features to breaking down the real science, we are committed to fostering understanding, empathy, and empowerment for all individuals across the gender spectrum. Join us as we navigate the complexities, celebrate the triumphs, and advocate for the rights of transgender people worldwide. Together, we can redefine boundaries, challenge stereotypes, and champion inclusivity. Subscribe today. The link is in the description.